seconds, full swing. But then before we get to the conversation fully, let's check out some trending news stories across the country. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that the prices of food items, especially rice, will soon go down. The president gave the assurance yesterday during an official unveiling of the Central Bank of Nigeria and Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria RIFAN rice paddy pyramids in Abuja. He urged Nigerians to exercise some patience, saying the growing food production in the country, especially expansion in the rice farming, will eventually bring down prices of food, making it more affordable for all. This was just as the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele revealed that following the successes recorded in the implementation of the CBN-led Anchor Borrower program, the country had been able to significantly reduce rice importation from Thailand by over 99.83% within the past 7 years. And President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, has hinted that the National Assembly will rework and pass the 2021 Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which President Muhammadu Buhari refused assent to last December on Wednesday. Lawan, who spoke to newsmen shortly after a closed-door meeting with President Buhari at the State House Abuja, said he was hopeful that both chambers of the National Assembly would pass the bill on Wednesday, which is today, and be ready to represent it to the president by next week. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello of Niger State has said not less than 165 civilians, 25 security personnel, and 30 local vigilantes were killed within 17 days this year. The governor announced the figure after meeting President Buhari at the presidential villa, Abuja, on Tuesday. He said his state recorded 50 attacks and loss of lives between January 1 and January 17, while not less than 300 communities were also invaded by bandits within the same period, while 200 persons, including 3 Chinese nationals, were abducted. And also forming the basis of our conversation this morning, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said it will not release a timetable for the 2023 general elections until the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is passed into law. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu said this in Abuja on Tuesday at the first quarterly meeting with political parties for the 2022. He said the commission was working and looking forward to the speedy passage of the bill, which will determine its preparation for the 2023 general elections. And on that note, we get to the conversation this morning. We'll be talking, like I mentioned earlier, rebuilding a peaceful and united Nigeria with our guest, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, Country Director of Global Peace Foundation, Nigeria, and Chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State Chapter. And you too can be a part of the conversation. Feel free to join in with your 2 cents. Call 090-7353-0044 or 090-8766-8888. You can send us a message on 090-9705-4450. Reverend Hayab, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you too for having me.
Now, let's begin this conversation this morning with the level of insecurity in the country. You're from a state... You're the chairman of CAN in Kaduna State, one state that has been ravaged by a lot of insecurity in the past few years. Most recently, you've been speaking for the Bethel Baptist Church students who were kidnapped. And in January this year, we heard of the release of 2 of, the kidnapped victims from that school. One person is still, in captivity. And we're wondering, are you worried that this may turn out to be like the case of Leah Sharibu? What is the updates, or what updates can you give us as regards, that situation?
Let me begin by thanking Nigerians for the show of love and show of solidarity when 121 students of our school at the Bethel Baptist High School in Damishi, Kaduna, were kidnapped on the 5th of July. Efforts were made to see how these young children will be released. Money exchange hand, a lot of things had to go to the bandits before they begin by releasing some numbers. They begin by releasing first the 28 students and later 32 and sometimes 15, other times 10, 2, 1. That's how they release. And then few others actually escaped from the bandits. And the 121 students, so far so good. 119 students return, and their matron making it 120. We have one student that is yet to be back. It will be nice, it will be important for me to let Nigerians know that we spend nothing less than 250 million naira to get these children back home. It was a painful experience. Some of these parents don't have money. Some of them have to borrow money. Spirited individual assisted, and issues like these are not what you start mentioning names. People out there, so we appreciate them. Even when we don't mention your name, we thank you, we celebrate you, we pray for you. But is it really what we want, to be thanking people for giving us money, or we want to have a secure environment where none of our children, none of our wives, none of our husbands, none of our brothers or friends will be kidnapped? Because the kidnap of the Bethel Baptist High School is just one out of many kidnaps. The fact is that if you put together the total money that exchange hand between community members in Kaduna State and bandits, we're talking about billions. And this is coming from people who cannot really pay school fees, coming from people who cannot pay house rent, coming from people who don't even have good source of livelihood. And you ask yourself, where did they get this money? Some of them have to sell many family properties. Some of them have to borrow money. Today, we are facing the problem of how do they pay back some of the monies they give, they brought. So these are many others. This is what we went through, but we are happy that the children, all of them, virtually all of them except one, are now back. But there are many people who are still in captivity. Recently, the report we are receiving is that security agencies are making effort. They are beginning to foil some of the attempts. But even 2 days ago, last night or 2 nights ago, there were attempts in some communities where there were casualties both on the side of the community, Maraban Rido, and the military or the security agencies. So we are still in this deep problem. On Friday last week, in one community in Giwa local government, they were holding a wedding reception, and the government just came open fire on them. So this is what we keep happening. Today, if you don't hear the story from Chikun, you hear the story from Igabi. If it's not from Igabi, it's from Brenungwari. The fact is that about 2 days ago, this government came and chased people. The story is that it was like a fight between one camp of the bandits or terrorists and another, but the community suffer. So we have a lot to do. We have a lot we are going through. This is sad. But let me come back to the issue of the young boy who is still there. It is sad that he was kidnapped the same time, the same period with the others, and has not returned. But I think Nigerians need to know at this time that this young man has not returned, not because we've not negotiated enough with the bandit, but the bandits realize that he is the smallest out of the 120 or 21 persons that they kidnapped. So when he arrived, they come from the 5th of July, they embraced him and begin to court him, and begin to show him love, giving him meat, giving him everything he wants to eat, and they gave him a special treatment out of all the other students. So a small child with small mind, not having the decision of his own, gave into that and just said, okay, I will stay with these people. That's exactly the situation we are facing now. And he even cooked up a kind of a story that cannot be substantiated, that his parents used to fight, so he better stay here where he's eating meat and go back to his parents that used to fight.
Really,
that
really
is
sad.
the situation at the moment, and that's just the reason why this young boy have not returned.
That's really sad. I mean, who knows the fate of that young man if he's brainwashed at that
Exactly.
really young
They've
age?
brainwashed him and then makes them feel... there are a lot of things going on now in the minds of the parents, in the minds of the students that are back, in the minds of the school community about him. But we still believe that if we get him back, we'll be able to work on him, we'll be, bring him back to his senses, and he will understand that those things he taught and do at his age, I'm not sure he's up to 11, at his age you can understand.
Let's hope that he returns and he's able to regain his freedom and regain, and I would really let's talk about that quickly. The fact that most people who go through these traumatic experiences never really get any form of psychological evaluation and, psychotherapy to get them back, in the right frame of mind. I was reading up something on someone who posted about his experience. He was kidnapped in Jos, on his way from Kaduna to Jos, and since then, he hasn't been able to. He says he's been traumatized. His sister and nephew who were with him, and brother as well, who were with him at the time, are all traumatized. They haven't been able to get any form of, psychotherapy or therapy to help manage their mental health. And let's talk about that, because many people have gone through these experiences. They're still going through the trauma, from that experience. What are we doing? Is there anything that the church and the school, as with government, has been able to do to ensure that these, the mental health of these people who went through this traumatic experience, especially these students who have returned, is kept in check?
Yeah, we have been doing a lot about trauma healing, counseling for these young children. The Global Peace Foundation, the organization I represent, kickstarted this long ago. We brought many of the early ones that were released, and we reached out to many organizations. We partner with Kuka Center. We partner with the Archdiocese of the Catholic in Kaduna, because they have the expertise. So we funded and organized the program, and they brought their experts to help. The program actually was held at the Catholic Media Service Center in Kaduna, which people who are familiar with that. So we partner with that. The fact that another group that partner with us is the Christian Council of Nigeria, her office in Jos, that is dealing with this kind of a thing. We brought the experts to be part of it. There was also an organization that wanted to partner with us, that is the Equa African Services, but they couldn't show up, but they were not available at the time we set up the meetings. But somehow these organizations have continued. I can say to you that the school, the Bethel Baptist High School, closes on the 18th of January, closed on the 18th of December last year, but the students were not allowed to go home. They all went to Jos and spent 4 nights doing trauma counseling, trauma healing, and exercise to help them get out of it. The one the Global Peace Foundation organizes around October in Kaduna was beyond just the students of Bethel Baptist High School, because we brought students of the School of Forestry. We also brought the students of Greenfield University. We brought other students from different schools that have suffered kidnapping in Kaduna, because we had Bethel Baptist High School students, Federal School of Forestry students, Greenfield University, and then other victims. I know during that session, a local government chairman or vice chairman of one of the local government, who was also a victim, got to know about it, and he participated in the trauma exercise we did. So we brought people from even Islamic schools who have also passed through. So it was beyond one section. It is just a way of helping people come out of this trauma. As you said, a lot have been traumatized. You see, the victim himself is traumatized. Those who did the negotiations are traumatized. Those who are loved ones, relations, family members are traumatized. Those who even, like one famous musician in Kaduna that I got involved in how to get him released from bandits, those are used in negotiating and paying the money. The fact that their trauma was even more than the man who spent months with the bandits, because the day they went to give out the money we gathered, they came back. They told me that when they arrived, the young men just asked one of them to jump on top of the money. What does that mean? He didn't understand, and he jumped with his shoe, and they beat the hell out of him. He almost collapsed. The simple reason was, if the money is fake money you are bringing to them, when you match the money, it will show. If it is genuine cash that you are bringing to them, when you match the cash, it will prove that this cash is genuine. So he's supposed to accord respect to the money, and knowing that he's coming to give the money to them, and he stepped on top of that money with his shoe, and he got the beatings of his life. And then they released his colleague and kept him captive for hours. His colleague had to go and bring, they said for coming to that place to collect the money, they needed certain money for foil, and it was not part of what they brought. They kept him for over 4 hours. Look, that 4 hours trauma was something else. And finally, when they got the money, they never released that man. A day later, they call them, they say, yes, you paid the money, but you have to buy another motorcycle. It was another round of drama. And finally, when the market... So there are people having different trauma experience through these bandits, kidnapped and others. I've actually been in touch with the emir of Bungudu, who was kidnapped and he stayed with the bandits for over 30-something days. I can tell those who care to listen that one of the good things that happened is that when this man was released, he was the one who even called me, knowing what I've been doing about it. I said, Reverend, before I was released, these people brought 46 people or 45 people one of the Sunday evening. And from the look of these people, I believe they picked them from church. And I went to investigate and I realized exactly on the 3rd of October, 2021, they went to a community called Conte Audu and Conte Waziri and Gugua. They are just neighboring communities. And they picked 46 people in church. They went away with them. And what happened? When they were going, they saw one young man among them who looks actually macho, I would say. So they were not comfortable, and they separated him from the other 45, and they crossed the sea with the 45 to the other camp, and 2 were with the young man. Somehow the young man actually demonstrated that he was truly a strong man. And he fought 2 of the bandits, got their guns, threw it into the sea, and escaped, and came back. But angrily, when they arrived their camp, in the pens of how he fought them, they selected 4 of those that they know are able young men and probably related to him and gunned them there. And you see, those who watch that kind of a thing, you can imagine the trauma they go through, seeing how they just gone down. Like when they kidnapped 66 members of our church in Emmanuel Baptist Church, Kukumdaji, what really happened was that 7 days later, they picked 5 good young men out of them as if they were releasing them. But the intention was evil. When they brought them near the community, they now asked them to go. When they stepped out, they opened fire on all of them. 2 died instantly. 1 later died in the hospital, but 2 were able to recover in the hospital and they are back home. But if you see this kind of thing, how will you not be traumatized? So you can see that the trauma experience is actually terrible. And so I quite agree with you that there is need for trauma counseling, and we are doing it. But the number of the victims are just more than what one organization, 2, 5, 6 organizations can handle. That's why I'm pleading with many NGOs that are experts in this field, come. Because one of the rules of this engagement is that you don't need to have too many people at a time going through trauma healing. You don't give them the best of what you need. So you can group them into 20, at most 30 or so. So when we start doing that, then we will need more than 60, 100 organizations that will be handling this. Or if we have 20, then they will have to be doing it group by group.
In batches.
In batches. If not, we can't get the best of it. The people have been traumatized. The people are going through pains. The fact is that if you know the psychological fear that exists in the minds of the people now, once it is night, they are just thinking, are they coming this night? What will happen? Children, when they hear, one of them told me this, and I remember that, just a sighting of a food flask in the market turned her completely into something else, because that was the kind of food flask that they used to serve them food in the camp. And when she saw it in the market, she felt she was already back in the camp of the bandits.
There's a lot that needs to be done. We're not even talking so much about those who are traumatized as a result of all of these. Imagine the number of people, the people who see numbers of people being, killed and kidnapped on a daily basis. I mean, just yesterday, the governor of Niger State was talking about how 200 people or 220 people had been killed just within
17 days.
In Zamfara State, in one night or in one day, over 200 people were killed. And we're looking at the ripple effect of this psychological trauma that these people go through. It's just a lot. And
you see, this is where we are really sad that those God has handled with the responsibility to lead us at this time in Nigeria have not been fair and considerate to the people, because it seems they use even the figure for not really to address the issue, just to whip sentiment. If you remember when the 200 people were killed in Zamfara, the governor of Zamfara, who was supposed to show leadership, was even trying to play a game with the whole thing and was blaming some media for making the number 200. But at the end, he too confessed that some of the chiefs did confess to him that 25 in this community, 35 in the other community, 7 in this community. But you see, the media actually went to the community and got the right number, and that's why we got that over 200 people were killed. How can you go to sleep as a governor when 10 people in your state die in one night? How can you go to sleep as a governor then when 50, 100, 200 people die in your state within 17 days? What can you do? What have you been doing? Is it just coming to the media and give us statistics that people really want? People want to see concrete actions, concrete policies and programs that will take the fight to the bandit and stop them from harassing, intimidating. When you look at Kaduna's structure and you know where these communities are mentioning are, the fact that the bandits are gradually and almost getting into the heart of the town, because Ungwengimbia in Sabontesha, Maraban Rido that they are now tormenting, it's just about 5 minutes drive into the town. If the bandits will have the audacity, will be daring to this level that they can come that close, then we are in deep problem. If we don't get it right now, time will come that there will even no safer place anymore. I've always said this, that when you look at this location of the Bethel Baptist High School and the NNPC junction, it's just 5 kilometers away from the NNPC junction. My understanding is that if we have a very important business place like that, the government of the Federal Republic is supposed to secure it beyond 30 kilometers from where it is located. But just some 3 kilometers away from there, bandits are having a field day. They've not just jumped into the fence of NNPC, but all the communities around the fence are being tormented by bandits. That shows you that something is wrong. We are really not doing what is right.
We hope that we get it right and fix the situation. The conversation continues. You're on to Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You can count on. Keep it with us. We've been a bit what we're talking about. Well, people have said politicians are involved, maybe involved in all of this. The question that many ask is, who armed these people? Who gave them the guns? Who do they report to? We'll be talking about all of that in a bit. Stay with us.
Attention! Turn your speakers up. The music is lit.
Oh, yeah, take all my money, put them for your head.
Guess who's in town? We are the new sound of music.
Eagles 102.3.
Hi there, this is a special appreciation message to all our loyal and esteemed clients in the year 2021. Creative Minds, Primus 2, Favor Interior Decoration, Life by Design, Apex Wave FinTech, Joseph Nigeria Limited, Steel I Rise Foundation, Mutafitari, Rich Dad Education Consult, Vision Point, Scovers Educational, Tony Furniture, Business Hub, Jehovah Witness, NATO Consult, La Buavina, Champion Faith Church, Galaxy Center, Bold Gains International, Christ Embassy, The Voice of a Workshop, Spectre Industries, Sixth Gear Revolution, Lomation Hub, June Kids and Teens, Amazing Deals, Cents and More, Century 10, Orotastic, Business Giant, Good Life, Shore Light, Bitterstone Security Nigeria Limited, NP Healthcare Development Agency, Tata Asian Restaurant, Cash 24, Visa Microfinance Bank, Abuja My Home, Dakoa Ventures, Treasurefield Christian Center, Deeper Life Bible Church, Sea Palms Garden, Tushmart Supermarket, Grace View Homes, Cherry's Hypermarket, Damian Campbell, Kids Cooking Competition, NMEC, Jerome Travels, Revelation of Truth, VIO, INEC Homes, Infinox Capital, Stella Maris, Destiny Prayer Network, Goodmore's Learning Center, 9 Mobile, Audible Talent, Biola Divine Heritage and Properties, Govern Reality, University of Ghana, Equity Nigeria, SBI Media, and STB McCann. Thank you for trusting Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Let's do more together. We look forward to greater collaborations in 2022.
Let's spice up your day.
Tune into a breath of fresh air. It's all fun and games until it gets extra and better. 1023 Extra, weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with Lee J. Cheers to something new.
Eagles Morning Rise. Eagles Morning Rise with
Show Prince. 9:27 is the time. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You can count on Eagles 102.3. This morning we're talking rebuilding a peaceful and united Nigeria. Our guest is Reverend John Joseph Hayab, Country Director, Global Peace Foundation Nigeria, and Chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State Chapter, talking with us this morning. It's been an interesting conversation. You too can be a part of it. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. An interesting and emotional conversation we've been having. You can send us a message on 090-9705-4450. Now, Reverend Hayab, let's talk about this angle that a lot of people do not even know about. The fact that these bandits, some of the reasons why they kill their victims is to harvest their organs. And so for them, whether ransom is paid or not, and in some cases ransom is paid and yet they go ahead to kill their victims and harvest their organs and sell. A lot of Nigerians do not even know about these, this aspect of their operations, which is why a lot of people are still asking, who are these sponsors? Who are these people who give them monies to supply them, human organs? Who are these people who have armed them?
You see, the duty of those who are supposed to dig deep and tell us who are the sponsors of these people are the Nigerian security agencies. You can refer that to the SSS, and the police and all other organs of the security agencies we have in Nigeria. Because I can't understand how bandits will operate in a country that is our country, that has a government, that has security network, and we have not been able to expose them. Like when they started collecting money from us, I remember one of the days that we gave them huge money. It should be around 60 million or so during the Bethel Baptist High School children, and they agreed that they are going to release them that evening, but they never released them. So we were wondering what happened, and when we called them and said, you collected our money in the morning, and we thought that in the evening you are going to release these children for us. And they said, don't worry, we are going to release them the next day, but we actually went to town. That tells you that they have people, when they had such money, they bring it to town. Who knows them? We don't even know their faces. And our network, our security agencies have what it takes to trap all their conversations. When we were forced to all register our phones with our NIN number, which have successfully gotten over 60% of Nigerians who have phones today, are we saying that these bandits have not been captured? And are we saying we cannot monitor their conversation and know where they are calling from? Because I do know that our security agencies are able to monitor certain things. Why did they monitor the man who accused the governor of his state of saying some evil thing about the governor, or saying something bad about a minister, or saying something bad about any political appointee or any political office holder, and they will not actually monitor criminals? That's why some months ago when states like Kaduna, Zamfara, and Katsina shut down network because they want to address this insecurity, I personally felt that was a primitive decision. That was a primitive way of dealing with insecurity, because in civilized world today, where technology is better, you use technology to track any criminal. The fact is that if you are going to shut down, you shut down not more than 30 minutes, because you've already pinned him down within that given space. So you just shut down so that he will not speak with anybody until you get him. But sadly, we shut down for months. And what did we gain? Nothing. So we've not done enough in tracking and going after those who are funding, sponsoring, and giving these people cover. And when Nigerians get angry, or victims get angry and start accusing some people, you can understand why they're saying what they're saying. But because they don't have any fact to hold. But the bandits have come out publicly to say that we couldn't have been doing what we are doing if we don't have support, if we don't have backing. So who are those people backing? Can Nigeria security agencies act? And that's where I have a lot of problems with this way security has been handled in Nigeria. The IG of police, the commissioners of police, the SS director or state or what DG should know that he is first responsible to Nigerians, not to the person who is leading at that time. So he is to protect Nigeria and Nigerians, not to protect a governor or a president or a political office holder, because protecting them is not protecting Nigerians. You see, use our security for the country, because when you become the IG, you become the Inspector General of Nigerian Police Force, not the Inspector General of Nigerian political party or office holders, or you become the DG SSS of the Nigerian Security Intelligence, not the SSS of one person in power, because I think that is the misplaced priority. That's why our security agents have not been able to. Will I even say they've not been able to? To me, I feel they know more than what we know, and their hands are tied. They can speak.
Now, does that mean that you would support a case of, the arguments for those who say let's have state police, in Nigeria rather than the centralized police?
Well, you see, the issue is that when you look at how police is being run in civilized communities or in advanced countries, we can have a federal police training, but the police is controlled by the court. Why we want him to be our DPO, because we want to stop crime. There is crime in this place, crime in that place, so he is coming to be in charge and make sure that crime is protected. So people have been trained by the Nigerian police, but they operate within our community, and they are responsible to us. So whether you call it state police or whatever you call it, that's sense of responsibility. Who are you responsible to? But do you know that even a police outpost do not feel she's responsible to the community? She feels she's responsible to one man. That's why today when people join the police or join the SSS or join any security agencies, what they go lobbying every day is to be guarding one VIP. It's not about securing the community. It's not about protecting the country. It's about guiding VIPs. Have you seen that in Nigeria today, a large chunk of Nigerian security men, whether SSS, police, civil defense, corps, whatever name, are in the houses of some individuals or some VIPs? Well, there is criminality going on all over the community, and they are doing nothing. That's why sometimes I disagree with those who say that, look, we have shortage of manpower. No, when you calculate the number of police that are guarding some individual, one man have 10 policemen in his house, or 5 in his house, another 5 in his office. What for? Here alone. And there are many Nigerians that are not being secured. What do we do that? Have you seen our banks? If we have 300 banks in Abuja, or we have 300 banks in Kaduna, that means we have almost 300 to 600 policemen who are guarding this bank. That's supposed not to be. What's supposed to be is that the police will now give the banks this opening, recruit your security men, bring them to the police college, we train them, and they go and serve you, and you pay them. But you see, the police who's supposed to be protecting me is somewhere in a bank, 2 of them in a bank, and if you have certain numbers of bank with many bank branches now, you have many financial houses now, you have many of them. And what normally happens is that every month, those banks give certain amount to the boss. Where is the gain of the country? Nothing. So citizens are being killed. The boss is busy getting money for police securing a bank instead of the bank employing. And that's why when we talk about lack of employment, some of us just smile at it, because if the bank will be allowed to employ her security and just be trained by the police, then we will reduce unemployment in the country. Then we will also secure the bank and secure the country. So there is something wrong with the system and the way we operate it. And unless we listen to the voice of reason and begin to put Nigeria first, Nigeria and Nigerians first, not trying to please some VIPs, because every Nigerian can be a VIP tomorrow. But let him know that, look, whether you become a VIP, the institutions in Nigeria protect Nigeria and Nigerians first, not you. Then people will begin to act responsibly. So criminals will now know their games is finished. But the criminals do know that the man even that is sponsoring them is being protected by Nigerian police. And that's why when people accuse that there are security agencies who tell them, because the criminal comes to the house, the police may not even know that he's criminal. He's just gisting with a friend of his oga. He doesn't know that he is actually relaying information that the friend of his oga will go and use in their banditry camp. So we have to be smart enough. This is a country blessed with so much intelligent people, with so much people who have a lot of ideas, but because we want to continue to milk the people, we don't want to use good reasoning to save the people. We keep people in a very tight situation so that they will always come around and beg us. No, that is not right. Citizens of Nigeria deserve protection, and the government that they have elected should protect them. The security that their tax pay is being used to pay should protect them.
Absolutely. Nigerians deserve to be secured and protected. Join the conversation now. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Your messages are welcome. Don't forget we're streaming live. You can watch us on Facebook and YouTube at Eagles FM Abuja. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Who are we on to?
Yeah. My name is Chike. I'm calling from Abuja.
Chike, good to have you. Go ahead, let's hear you.
Please, I want to find out your advert rates and program rates. I want to, come to your station and...
Okay, Chike, you know what to do? Please just hang up now and then listen. I'm going to call out a number. You can text that number and then we can pick up the conversation from there, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. 090 97 054450.
054450.
Yes.
Let me call it, please. 090.
Okay, Chike, go ahead. 090, yes.
97.
Yes.
05 4450.
Absolutely correct. Just send a message to that number and we'll pick up the conversation. Thank you very much for indicating interest to do business with us. What can we say? Business is very important as well. All right, join the conversation now. We've been talking rebuilding a peaceful and united Nigeria with Reverend John Joseph Hayab, who has been talking with us, making so much sense in the conversation this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prince. Good morning, Prince. Good morning, the guest on the studio. There is UD calling from Apo.
UD, thank you for joining us. Go ahead, let's hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I see the guests have spoken just all the right thing that is happening. And I was born and brought up in Kaduna. I know the integrity and I know most things that is going on in Kaduna then when I was in Kaduna. So what he said is true. The people of Kaduna and most of the northern region there, they know who are doing all those things. They really know. Then with Kaduna, if you see a stranger, you know. So they need to come out and really expose these people. At least even call the sponsors out. Most of the sponsors are government functionaries. So the sponsors should let you affect my life. So to say, we'll come them now. When the time reach, we will do so.
All right, UD, I wonder how the people would know who the sponsors are. Like they say, they're mostly faceless. And, well, it would behoove on the intelligence community to be able to help us identify those who are sponsors of terrorism in this country. All right, join in. We're taking your thoughts and responses. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Now, let's delve into the politics for a bit, Reverend Hayab. There's been tension across the country as regards who becomes president or who doesn't become the next president, where it's, zoned to, where it isn't zoned to. We've in fact, Khan made a categorical statement a couple of weeks ago saying, well, a Muslim ticket would not be acceptable, is unacceptable. Now, in all of these, Nigeria and Nigerians are the ones who either suffer or profit from this. As a religious leader, we've also had situations where people accuse religious leaders of, taking monies, and that's why they're silent. They're not, they're not speaking up as regards some of the issues we're dealing with because some politicians have given them monies. Before you respond to that, we'll be bringing in another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Richard.
Richard, good to have you join us this morning.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. Let me quickly first commend the reverend gentleman on the studio for a powerful insight into the security situation in the north as it is. It has given an insight, that has really thrown more light to the situation with the security around the northern region. We have been talking on this insecurity, kidnapping, killing, and bandits and terrorists across the country. And some of us are beginning to sound like a broken record as far as this insecurity is concerned. We have the security architecture in this country. We have the taxpayers are paying a lot of money to see that their lives are secured. And yet, there's nobody that seems to be safe, except the politicians who go about, with an array of security personnel around them. This is not so. I don't know how we prioritize security in this country. A situation whereby, the security personnel are attached to a few privileged people, and then the majority of the citizens are left exposed. This is not good, and this is the reason why we keep seeing this recurrence of insecurity over the place. The larger population of Nigerians are left exposed, unsecured, and then a few privileged people are surrounded with all manner of security personnel. This should change. If the Nigerian government wants to see a change in to redeploy security men, even the way they deploy their security personnel, is faulty. It's faulty. Just like the regular gentleman said, a situation whereby, the citizen criticize the official with speed. The security architecture of the DSS will pick up that person. But when the terrorists are terrorizing people, just close to even cities, nothing. They can't trace them. They can't simply trace them. What is happening? I believe that there is something that is going on with the security network that we are not being told. But, at the end of the day, Nigerians are suffering it. So I am saying that, we should rework this. If we need more boots on ground, that should be done.
All right. Thank you very much, Richard.
It has to be done. And if we need more resources, it should be injected into the host. So I'll do this situation once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Now, back to that question before we talk about Richard's comments. The politics of religion in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on that?
You see, it all depends from the angle you're coming from. Let me say this clearly, that as the country director of Global Peace Foundation, I don't talk politics. But as the CAN chairman of Kaduna State, and as a Nigerian, I'm interested in who governs Nigeria, who governs my state, who governs the constituency I'm coming from. So when I speak from that particular point of view. But having said that, I want to clearly explain that the challenge of the politics of religion in Nigeria has been long. It's just that we are now reaping the fruit of that wrong seed that we saw many years ago, when we begin to sell candidates on the basis of their region or religion, then we messed ourselves up. Now, I'm happy that we've learned great lesson. The fact is that some of the feelers we are having all over the country is that the larger people have learned great lesson. I'm not sure whether Christians or Muslims or whatever religious group will come out and begin to preach religion anymore. If they do that, then it shows how blind we will remain. But I think people are beginning to talk about an expert. You see, let me put a pilot, for example. I cannot allow you, I cannot board your plane just because you are a pastor. I'm boarding the plane because you are a pilot, an expert. Whether you are an atheist or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist, whatever religion you belong to, as long as you are a pilot, then I can board your plane. Can I just board a plane because the pilot, there's a plane that is heading to Lagos, but the pilot is a pastor, and then I entered and he's not a trained pilot? I'm not going to do that. If I can secure my life that way, that's the same thing I'm supposed to secure the country, that I cannot just allow you become my president, my governor, just because we go to the same church with you or you come from our same tribe. You must be someone who can deliver the goods. So Nigerians must wake up from their slumber and know that those who come and preach division, preach religion, preach ethnicity, preach region, have not saved us, have not solved our problem. There are a lot of things going on today in Nigeria in the social media space where some people don't even believe that the champion we thought we wanted to have, is he really the one or someone impersonating him? So these are the lessons we are going to learn. I think let me leave it that way because Nigerians know it very well, that time have come for us to, and religious leaders who collect money, will face this reality, because if you collect money and install a bad government, then that government will lead to the death of many members. So your job as a religious leader will be to be burying your members instead of celebrating the blessings that you're supposed to have. So, but when you enthrone a good government, then every day you will be celebrating the good things that is happening to our country, to your members and others. So religious leaders who have compromised should learn their lesson with the experience that we are going today. Whether you are a Christian, you are whatever religion, I believe that we've all passed through this difficult school, and we're supposed to learn our lesson.
All right, we have a caller, Reverend. Hello, good morning.
Hello, everybody again, Aniakan.
Aniakan, good to have you. Go ahead, let's hear you, please.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate you. Reverend Dr. Mandela with you.
Thank you very much.
Our mind. Now, I want to talk about the security operatives being attached to the, in quotes, their leaks. Number one, the leaks are put out with voted the power, and their job there is to govern us and lead us rightly. Now, the security operatives posted to them, I believe that a rat wouldn't know, a foreign rat won't know where my right is or garage is in my house if I don't take him there. In other words, the police or the security operatives from each state should govern their state or protect their state. A structure where a Northern policeman or a Northern military personnel is sent to the south or the east or the west, you don't know the credit of these areas. They're sitting there in that land. The best thing for the police government to do or to do is post men from those states to those areas in their states where they have violence or they have insecurity or insurgents or bandits. Not take it off from the south to go rule or go fight banditry in the north. Where you don't know the crane is number one. You don't used to the weather number two. You don't use anything around there. It becomes handicap. You're chasing a blind spot, which you'll never see. I need them our power there because they know the crane is. They know how to escape in any situation. And while we, the assets to those foreign lands, end up being slaughtered. And again, like the gentleman now said, that these are controlled by top politicians. And these military operatives have a way of tracking these guys. Track them. Why must he be like, when someone insults a minister or a senator, he is tracked to his house? There's not that constantly him the country. You don't track them. Rather, you applaud them. This is a case of misplaced our priorities. And the military and the next security operatives should get the priorities right. Otherwise, I said last time, leave the office to come and handle the office.
And Aniakan, thank you so much. Thank you very much for calling in. All right, we'll be taking more of your thoughts in a few minutes. We'll take our last caller, 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Now, one thing that Nigerians would never cease to talk about is the fact that, 2023 is around the corner. And we would want the best for ourselves. Like you mentioned, we wouldn't board a plane because the pilot is Christian or Muslim. We would rather board because the man is an expert. He knows what he's doing. He's a trained pilot. Now, that has continued to be a source of concern to many Nigerians because, as it is, when the politicking gets close, you see religious leaders pitch tents with different people, whether or not these people are qualified, so long as, well, they're members of my denomination or members of my religion or members of my, worship place. And they probably giving me certain money, some amount of monies. What I do is I don't vote, just go ahead to vote these people. I also convince many other Nigerians to vote them. Some people have said religious leaders have been quiet so much, so especially in the face of insecurity, that they're not speaking truth to power, even those who are close to power, to the corridors of power.
I think, sincerely speaking, there are religious leaders in this country that have been speaking truth to power. Who will know, without mentioning them, but if I want, I'll use people like Bishop Kuka and others. And we do know that once you speak truth to power in Nigeria, they come after you, they say terrible things. And because of the poverty in the community, not many people want to face this kind of triple challenge. You have your problem, you have the government to face, and then the poverty around. So some people are just trying to avoid it. Sometimes they even come up with some phantom charges against you. I remember one religious leader who spoke out against what was happening in Kaduna, and before we knew what was happening, the next thing is that they went to a suburb of Kaduna, and so he had a branch of a church, and they asked the church to present her papers. Well, other churches there were not asked to present their papers, so they just used that and say, he has a church in Kaduna that do not have papers. And people who started talking, those who armchairs critics will say, so all this good thing he's talking about, his church have no paper, not knowing that they deliberately chose that place so that they would turn the game against him. So many religious leaders find it difficult. But for me as a person, sometimes I just do this for my children. Because I used to tell people who care to listen that I don't want my children to grow up and give birth to their children, and their children will be asking them that we learn from history that things like this happen in Nigeria. And at that time, our grandfather was a pastor alive and doing, he never said anything. I would not want my grandchildren to ask their parents that question. So I am speaking out for myself, for my children, and then for the entire people, because unless you put yourself in this shoe and understand that these things affects you, affects your children, affects your future family, you will not understand what it needs to speak. So instead of just giving a carpet condemnation that religious leaders are not speaking, I would say that there are many who are speaking. Yes, I quite agree that there are some of our colleagues who are scared to speak. I'm not justifying why they are scared to speak, but I want to encourage them that don't be afraid. If we keep quiet, this evil will continue. When we speak out, someone will listen and someone will see the need to do what is right. Because a leader is supposed to be answerable to us, not bossing over us. This is a country where we actually voted our leaders and gave them appointment letter. But sadly, our leaders think that they are the ones who keep us. So without them, we do not exist. I beg to disagree with that, because the governor of my state, I gave him appointment letter as governor. Members of the House of Assembly and members of National Assembly, I gave them appointment as members of National Assembly.
Please hold that,
the president of Nigeria, I gave him appointment as president.
Absolutely.
So he is responsible and answerable to me, not me bowing and worshiping every day.
Hello, good morning. We have 1 minute. What's your name?
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I would like to say that I would like to be a part of the security workforce, because I discovered that I'm actually wired for this, and there's a lot of square pegging, wrong goals. I don't know who do I contact, because I will need some training, even though I have some discoveries on my own.
Okay, what's your name again? What's your name again?
Hello?
What's your name again?
Tolu Adebayo.
Tolu Adebayo. Tolu, let's pick up this conversation later. You may want to call that text message line that I reeled out earlier, 090-9705-4450. Please do that. Let's continue the conversation around that. Thank you very much. All right, at this point, we'd have to drop the anchors on the program. We really appreciate you, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, Country Director, Global Peace Foundation, Nigeria, and Chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, Kaduna State Chapter. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you, too, for having me.
Your time.
We pray for peace in Nigeria, and especially in northern Nigeria.
Absolutely. My name is Ihia Nacho Prince. Thank you so much for staying with us and enjoying the conversation.
The man who scored our first goal at AFCON.
Yeah, you can say that. But thank you again for being here.
We look forward to a successful outing this evening.
Yes, some people are predicting 2-1 for Nigeria.
Well, we want to have better scores, so we want to have the best. We want to come out with our full 9 points. So, Super Eagles, you have my support, and other Nigerians.
Go Super Eagles. Thank you so much. Keep it here.
Welcome to Eagles 102.3 News Beats. Here is the business news beats. Senate President Ahmed Lawan has said President Muhammad Buhari has not asked any official in his regime to implement the removal of petroleum subsidy. Lawan said this to State House correspondents on Tuesday after a meeting with the president at the Aso Villa in Abuja. According to him, the purpose of his visit is to convey the concerns of the various constituencies represented at the National Assembly over certain issues, especially the proposed removal of fuel subsidy. New labor unions met on Tuesday in Abuja, where they outlined the conditions the federal government must meet before it would be allowed to stop subsidizing premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol. Officials of the Trade Union Congress, Nigeria Labour Congress, Petroleum and National Association among others, spoke at the annual general meeting and inauguration of the newly elected National Executive Committee of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria in Abuja. National President of Trade Union Congress, Quadri Olalaye, said the energy crisis in Nigeria was solely due to the incompetence and corruption of the government. The Postmaster General of the Federation, Dr. Ismail Adewusi, has blamed the lack of capital vote in 28 years for the dilapidated state of offices of the Nigerian Postal Service across the country. He said this on Tuesday during an interactive session with journalists in Abuja. Last week, a Nigerian media personality, Bolanle Olukale, shared photos of the post office story, describing it as a ghetto inside due to worn-out chairs and overflowing bins outside the office. The Postmaster General, however, said lack of adequate funding has been the primary reason for the poor state of post offices. The Healthcare Providers Association of Nigeria has said the new tariffs to be paid to its members by health maintenance organizations under the private health insurance scheme will be implemented starting from February 1st, 2022. The president of the association, Dr. Adeyeye Arigbabuwo, said this on Tuesday in Lagos during a press briefing, where it addressed the astronomical rising cost of health goods and services matched against abysmally low reimbursement by HMOs and private health insurance. Decision reached by the association with its various groups and members who are involved with private health insurance in Nigeria. Arigbabuwo said the association resolved that all existing tariffs, contracts of private health insurance business with the association and members nationwide are due to expire on 31st January 2022. They are therefore necessary for immediate adjustment effective from 1st February 2022. Cocoa farmers on Tuesday raised their alarm over the low quality of cocoa beans produced in Nigeria and expressed fears that the products might face international rejection if the identified concerns persist. The President's Cocoa Farmers Association of Nigeria, Diola Adegoke, disclosed this during the opening of the association's Good Agricultural Practice Training Handbook. He said to raise the alarm on the low quality of the cocoa beans and the need for the nation to brace up to change the narrative in order to prevent cocoa from being rejected now and in the future of being sanctioned. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority on Tuesday stopped flight VM1609 of Max Air to carry out a safety inspection on the airplane after it had boarded passengers and was already taxiing for takeoff. It was learned that the passengers of the flight, which was leaving the Abuja airport for Lagos, kicked against the delay caused by the move by NCAA. Some of the travelers reportedly complained of being stranded in the aircraft as they alleged that the flight was stopped due to technical issues. Unity said the 11:30 flight had moved some distance on the tarmac preparatory for takeoff before it was eventually turned back to the hangar and packed. And finally, the Nasarawa state government has said it generated a sum of 16.8 billion naira internally generated revenue for the year 2021 after banning the use of manual receipts and introducing a central billing system for collection of taxes in the state. Executive Chairman of the State Internal Revenue Service, Ahmed Mohammed, disclosed this in an interview on Tuesday. He said it became necessary to introduce a central billing system because the usage of manual receipts for the collection of taxes became an avenue for some corrupt individuals to enrich themselves. Mohammed noted that before his appointment into office 4 years ago, the highest revenue